what is in your packet is a proposed language to look at boating under the influence. When Heather mentioned, and I talked to her some time ago, in regards to the tragic accident of her son, Keegan Peterson, it became pretty obvious that we need to look at mirroring what goes on in terms of DUIs and need to apply it to boating under the influence. And just like we go down the road, we need to stay in our lanes, be conscious of what we do and so forth. Well, boating is a little different. There's no lanes, but we still need to act and conduct ourselves responsible and accountable in terms of operating a vehicle, rather it's, well, not a vehicle, but a motorboat, rather it's a sea-doo or even a canoe or even a motorized boat. So what this basically proposed bill will do is look at and give the Fish and Wildlife officers the ability to provide or have a search warrant for a blood test. And we won't go into particular details of what occurred to Keegan and what I know of him. I wish I would have know him, since he's a big soccer advocate like I was, and for many years. It's a tragic that something like that happened, and then we have to look back and say, well, we should have changed something. We should have did something to be more proactive. I'm going to let Heather sort of give you her story. She'll come back to me, and I'm sorry, Aaron will have a comment, come back to me. I'm going to add one more thing to this bill that's not in here that I think it's really going to be a game changer. And then, like I said, the commissioner and the colonel can answer any questions you might have from a case law or any type of issues that you might have in terms of boating.
Thanks. Good afternoon. Again, my name is Heather Yelton, and I'm Keegan Peterson's mom. I'm here today to speak on behalf of my son and all families that have experienced tragedy on the water. On July 21st, my 12-year-old son, Keegan, was tragically killed in a jet ski accident on Nolan Lake. He was there with his friends and their family. I got a call that Sunday afternoon, about an hour after the incident, that Keegan was hit by a jet ski and was being airlifted to Norton Children's Hospital in Louisville. The days that followed were a blur of grief, shock, and confusion. We got a very high-level story about what happened. The mom was driving the boat, pulling Keegan and their son on the tube, and the dad was riding a jet ski and somehow hit Keegan and the tube. And as the facts of the case came to light, that confusion turned to a profound sense of injustice. The first responding officers did not arrive on the scene until over an hour after the incident. They took statements and conducted a basic field sobriety test, which the adult operators passed, but no blood work was ever done. Due to this gap in our current laws, my family will never know if drugs and alcohol were a factor in my son's death. When a boating accident is serious enough to cause a critical injury or fatality, the investigation should be as thorough as possible, and it doesn't feel like that is happening right now. That's why I'm here today, and I ask for your support in helping pass Keegan's bill. This bill making it mandatory for adult operators to undergo a blood test when there's been a serious accident that results in critical injury or death. This is not about assigning blame after a tragedy has occurred, but is about ensuring that law enforcement has the necessary tools to conduct an investigation from the start. I know this seems like it might be a small change and something that was just overlooked, but to our family, this would mean everything. This would mean that my son's legacy is not just about his tragic death, but a change that protects other victims and provides families the answers they deserve. Thank you for your time and listening to my story.
Yep. Hi, I'm Aaron Yelton. I am Keegan Peterson's stepfather, and I'm here today to speak on behalf of Keegan's father, Chris Peterson, who was unable to be here today, but did give a statement and asked me to share his words. My son, Keegan Peterson, was a 12-year-old boy who was just getting started. He brought so much energy and enthusiasm to everything he did. He was the person in our household that brought us all together. He was also the one who created a fun, chaotic environment that is so much missed today. Our house is quiet now. All we have are memories, pictures, and stories to share. All we want is to give him a hug, tell him how proud we are of him. and how much we love him. We will never have that opportunity again. Keegan did not have family with him on Nolan Lake that day. Trust was given to other adults to keep him safe. While Keegan was riding on a tube behind a speedboat, he was hit by a jet ski while still on the tube. He suffered a large laceration to his head and was immediately thrown off the tube and into the water, where he suffered a drowning event. When you go for a long period of time without oxygen to your brain, it can cause a lot of problems to your brain and other major organs. The drowning event may ultimately have been the cause of death. How can this event described not be deemed serious enough to conduct a thorough investigation? How? Explain that to me. We have so many questions and not enough evidence or answers to find peace. The hour and a half that it took the first responders to arrive at the scene is unacceptable. We know that at least one family member involved had already gone back home, showered, and changed clothes before returning to speak with the state officials. The fact that Kentucky Fish and Wildlife made the decision to rule out foul play without doing proper tests on those involved is unacceptable. If this happened on land, the investigation would have been handled much differently. Why are we not taking serious injuries or death on our waterways more serious? It doesn't make sense. I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of presenting this bill to you. The passing of Keegan's Law would be an amazing change that would protect other victims and hopefully give families information to questions that they so much deserve. Thank you so much for your consideration, and please don't forget to go home today and tell those that are most important to you how much you love them. You never know what tomorrow will bring. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the committee, I have talked to the Fish and Wildlife, both the commissioner and the colonel, and what we discovered is that Fish and Wildlife did, and not to contradict what he said, but they did respond properly. They responded, in fact, within 8 to 10 minutes when they received the call. And what we found out and what we discovered is that the Fish and Wildlife has a contract to route calls. They basically dispatch with 911 officials, with the state police. And so if that were a call, and I'm going to add this language to the bill. So what I would like to do is that when a call goes into 911, that dispatcher will not only dispatch the local police, but also the state police, which the Fish and Wildlife would be dispatched immediately. So instead of an hour and 20 minutes, that would have been, if they got the phone call, they would have been there 8 to 10 minutes after the incident. And that's a significant game changer in order to do that. So the Fish and Wildlife, officers, my understanding, did what they could within the law in order to address the situation as much as possible. And they do a lot of good, as y'all know, within our state, and we're very, very proud of what they do and so forth. So with that, it's basically two things. As I mentioned, as far as changing or looking at routing the 911 calls to the state police, but also give the law enforcement officers the ability to seek a warrant. That's what it is, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative.